Welcome to Destined Places, where location truly matters. I'm your host, Marilyn, inviting you to explore how our geographical settings shape our life path, relationships, and inner growth, all through the lens of astrology. Tune in as we reveal the powerful connection between our celestial patterns and the geographical places we inhabit or travel to. Hi Nina, and welcome to Destined Places. I am so thrilled to have you as my very first guest. Nina is a creative business coach with a gift for helping others align their work with purpose and soul. Today we're speaking with Nina, who's going to share insights into her journey through the lens of a sunline placement and how this planetary energy has shaped her path and leading to a move to Valencia in Spain, exploring not just the steps she's taken, but also where she's taken them. Hi, Nina. It's good to have you with us, but to begin with, can you please give us some idea and share what inspired you to relocate to the decision where you are, and why did you choose this particular location in Valencia?
What inspired me? The sun. First and foremost, I'm from the Netherlands. And I moved to Scotland at age 26, and I spent 12 years of my life there because my husband was working over there, and I wanted to be with him. And I just missed light. I missed light. I missed warmth. I missed color, especially. I'm a very visual person, a very creative person, and I need input. I need my batteries charged, and my batteries were drained up in the north of Scotland, where it's very dark, long winters, generally a little bit grayer than over here. So we were always talking about moving to the sun at some point. But of course, you're stuck with your job, and you've got to stay where you work, and you kind of get used to being where you are, and it's a little bit scary to just pick up and go somewhere else. Things changed for us job-wise and life-wise in 2016. And the opportunity came up to do something radical. And my husband and I, when we first met, long time ago, over 20 years ago now, we sat in a bar once and we wrote down on a napkin, what do you want in life? And one of the things that we both wrote down was that once in our life, we want to live in the sun. And when in 2016, everything got shaken up, and we were like, what are we going to do now? We were like, let's be brave and go somewhere else. We went south, obviously, because we wanted to go to the sun. And we thought about France, and we traveled around France for a bit that summer with our small children. And then we ended up in Spain that year during our holidays because we had the time and we were curious. And Spain felt a lot better. We were surprised by that, but we felt better about that. But then we were like, okay, if it's going to be Spain, where in Spain are we going to? Because it's a big country, there's lots of cities, there's lots of different places where you can settle. So we were a bit overwhelmed by the whole thing. It felt good, but we were overwhelmed. And then we were like, then you go back to safety, like, oh, you know what? Our life is good in Scotland. What are we on about? We could find another job. We'll just continue living in Scotland. And then that Christmas in 2016, we received an email from Valencia, from a family who lived here. And they were interested in doing a house swap for the holidays. We always have our house on the house exchange websites. And she said, we love Scotland. Do you want an exchange next year in August with us? And we were like, okay, yeah, let's do that. So in 2017, we arranged a holiday swap to Valencia. And we arranged that swap already at the start of the year. And then the seed was planted. I suddenly thought, Valencia, what is that going to be like? Could that be the place? And I started to do the research because that's who I am. I dive in and I start to network. I joined Facebook groups and I started to explore whether this could be the place to move to. So by the time it was August and we did the exchange, I had some phone numbers, WhatsApp numbers from other expats who live here, and we met up. They had their families in the schools here. They were living here. They were very happy here. And I looked at my husband and I said, If not here, then where? It ticks all the boxes. These other families seem to be happy here. There are possibilities here, and it feels good. I mean, it was the middle of August or early August, which is the absolute hottest time of year here. But everything felt really good, and so that's exchange holiday. We decided to come here. Yeah, it just feels good here.
I can appreciate why it would. As you've already partly said, like before this move, was there something that you had hoped would change in your life by being in this new location, other than the sunshine, the warmth?
Well, I felt I always felt that Scotland was a little bit of a compromise. I mean, it's a beautiful country, beautiful people, and I've had a lot of opportunities up there work-wise. And my children were born there, and I have some very good friends. I always felt it was a little bit of a compromise in terms of how I could express myself. I studied art history. I'm very interested in culture. I need vibrance around me, and I miss that definitely. I just didn't. It was Aberdeen where we lived. It was like tumbleweed in terms of culture. Sometimes it was really dead, and very. I was drained a lot of the times, and every time I did something different, people were like, "Oh yeah, because you're very arty, aren't you?" And oh yeah, I was always standing out, which isn't. I don't mind that, but I always felt like a bit like the oddball up there, and I just needed. I just missed color and art and just a different pool of people to be around as well, and some more open-mindedness and progressiveness and all of that. So I was really hoping to find that in our new place in Valencia, and I could sense that because even that first holiday that made us decide to come here, we went to museums. There's a beautiful park here. The historic city is just beautiful. I was walking around here, and I just felt my whole body filling with joy and warmth and happiness. There's lots of street art in the city center as well, which makes everything really colorful and inspirational. So yeah, for me it was a big yes when we were here, and I could see that it life would be very different here and very good for my uh, personality and the things that I find important in life.
Well, I guess you're now aware, because the sun, not only the sunshine, the warmth of the sun above our head, the sun in astrology, it actually represents our core self and purpose. Given what you've just shared now, I'm sensing that you've also felt a sense of your identity or a purpose that's shifted since you've relocated.
Yeah, I mean, it was already in Scotland when you emigrate and you've done that yourself. It's like you start with a clean sheet. Nobody knows you. It's very unsettling, but at the same time, it's also giving you a sense of I can start afresh. I can be anyone I like because people don't know me. So if I say I am an artist, I can be an artist. But because of the environment in Scotland, I never felt that strongly about it. Also, I was a lot younger. I was in like late 20s and 30s, which is I had, it's a different phase in my life. But coming here, being a little bit older and then moving to this beautiful place, I definitely felt that much stronger. Like I can start afresh again, and I can do everything I want to do and try new things and explore new opportunities and yeah, be more.
Be you. Yeah, be you, the woman that you are. That kind of leads me into thinking like, have you, you're making reference that you've certainly noticed specific qualities in you that has been able to come out, particular strengths that have come out, a newfoundedness, if I can use that as a word, that has come into your life, and that as a result is attributed to this move. Like you're saying that while Scotland and Aberdeen was a beautiful part of the world, you just didn't quite fit. You felt like you were the oddball out, I think is how you termed it. Whereas somewhere like Valencia has given you a lot more opportunity to actually be you in essence.
Yeah, I don't feel I feel more confident and about trying new things without feeling like, oh, what will other people think? Because it's also a lot of people who come here, they come here with that same energy. So I immediately felt it was much easier to find like-minded people who, and then it's easier to talk about common interests and what you want to do. And I think confidence is a big thing that has grown a lot. I mean, it's certainly not been easy. I mean, we've been here next month. It'll be 7 years, 70-ish maybe. But it's the first year, the first few years were definitely tricky, especially as a family. My children were very young, and as a mother, you worry all the time whether they're doing well, whether you've got the right school, whether because it's not just about me moving. Everybody had to settle. And while I was thriving, and I found cool little jobs as a tour guide on a bike, and I started to paint, and I've got a band here, and I was doing lots of different things that gave me a lot of joy. And my family didn't always share that same sentiment. It's that they are different people, and they are in different phases of their life. And the move has, it's given me confidence and resilience, and it's stimulated my creativity, not just in an artistic way, but also in finding ways to cope and to help my family settle. Just to feel at home.
I think this is a perfect example, actually, because looking at your astrocartography map, when we first got together, you literally have Valencia, or the sun more so, straight across Valencia. It is rising in Valencia. Mm. And so energetically, you have been given an injection of sunshine, of how you can step out into the world, how you can feel more confident, how you can take on roles that are more aligned with you, to bring you joy is the words that you're using, to bring you happiness. How you juggle that with your family is one thing. You're the person who is actually aligning with this astrocartography line called your sun line, which is exactly its job. It's the sun lighting you up to show you what you're capable of in the world. And you've also just shared that you've done a number of different little jobs, but you've gone back into the world of art, which is something that you are really quite passionate about. You've also gone back into the world of singing, writing, music, and this has brought you into something that happened pretty special earlier this year.
I said, definitely growing in confidence and bravery and fear. I released my first solo song on Spotify, and I've given
congratulations.
Thank you. I've even given myself an artist name, which only a few years ago, and I would have found that very pretentious and who do I think I am kind of thing. But I think it's also to do with my age. I've just turned 46. It's a bit like, excuse the language, the fuck it attitude. It's just like, why not? Why not? I have this talent, I have this passion, I have this interest, and other people want to write a book. I want to write an album. So this is what I'm doing this year. I just feel much more passionate about actually going after my dreams and my wishes and doing the things that I want to do. And it's like being here, I guess. It has given me a lot of ideas of what I actually want to do, because maybe also earlier in my life, you just do what other people do and what is expected of you, obviously what makes you money, and you're just following the career routes and all of that. And then being here also, I mean, thanks to my husband's financial situation as well. I mean, I'm lucky to be in this position that I don't have to go to a 9-to-5 office job to pay the bills. So I have to give that disclaimer. But I choose to use my time as an artist now and to really nurture my soul, my purpose as a creative. I do my creative business coaching as well. So I help others to try and find that same path and to follow their dreams. But to actually step out as an artist for the first time in my life is very powerful. Scary, but powerful.
That leads me into another question I wanted to ask you. So you've been there 7 years, and looking back during the course of this 7 years, like I can appreciate also having relocated a couple of times in my life. These are big decisions. These are big commitments, and you have a family that's part of that commitment. And so, how that juggling has to come out of things is that looking back, do you feel that this particular location of Valencia in Spain, in the warmth most times of the year, has supported your growth and your core self, or has it brought you unexpected layers to work through?
It's certainly given me a lot of opportunities for growth. Well, growth is always positive. Like I said, emigrating, moving countries, moving abroad, doing any big shift is challenging in itself. You've got to, you've got to really want it. You've got to be ready for difficulties as well and face them. And you can either dwell in them and become a victim, or you can stand up and say, you know what, we've chosen this path. We're going to make it good. Yeah, there's definitely been challenges and there still are, we are in a different country. There's the language barrier, even though, I speak Spanish now. Okay. But it's not my culture. It's not my country. I miss my family. I miss my friends abroad. So there's always those kinds of things. And you're always being a mother. There's always the anxiety of will my children be okay, because they are going through the education system here, and what will come of their future. So there's always those kinds of worries on your mind. But then what weighs up is the light, the lifestyle here, just being outside most of the time, the sunshine there, and just doing something with your life, being a little bit adventurous, and not staying put just because other people think that's where you should be.
Okay. Well, yes, I'm sharing it, but you're on your sunline in astrology and astrocartography. So as somebody who understands this field, it does. It just automatically does. Like I'm a woman who was born on my sunline. So I had it for the majority of my life until I moved away a couple of times. So I can appreciate certainly the difference of being just in your place where you need to be, when you need to be, and it's good. You just get on with it. That's just how it becomes. That's just the opportunity for growth on quite a dynamic level. And it really does align from my understanding of the core self that comes to it. It's just like, yeah, this is what I would like to do. And this is why I choose to do. And you don't have to justify that to another person. You choose to accept it. Well, yeah, this is what I'm wanting to do. Just step out into the light and be it, do it, create it. And what you're sharing is that you've created quite a lot even though it's only 7 years, that doesn't sound like a long period of time in my eyes, but it's 7 years and you've created a lot in that period of time. And yes, again, I can also appreciate that relocating to another country with a different culture, with a different language, certainly comes with its challenges. There's no doubt about it. However, learning to understand how to embrace it, how to accept it, and therefore how to grow in that concept of accepting a new language, a new culture, and a new place to be is definitely a challenge, as is when you live a great distance from family and friends that you've grown up with, that they're part of your life. But we have technology and such amazing things these days that it's not quite the same, but it's certainly a bit easier. If you could offer any insight to anyone who may be considering relocating based on their sun sign placement, what advice would you share?
Well, it's you who introduced me to the sun placement, so I was never aware of but this might have been a subconscious pull to Valencia.
Mhm.
I think it's super interesting to know more about this and look at locations that are in alignment with yourself without actually you knowing why. I think to be open and curious and exploring possibilities and not being afraid. I mean, what is life about really? Is it about staying put just because that's expected? It's very personal, so it's not for everybody to move around the world and find your place in the sun. But it's if you feel a little niggle and you're curious about this, and you're looking at envy at, people like us, like, oh, they've moved abroad, and how do they do it? And how do they fund it? And how do they build a new life? And how do they reinvent themselves? It's like, okay, if you feel that pull and you're calling and it keeps coming back, explore it further. Don't suppress it. There are opportunities, not just having a supportive partner, but there are opportunities for you to create an online business, for example, or to work remotely, or to do other things locally in tourism or wherever. There are opportunities, and you might have to adapt your lifestyle. This is what we had to do as well, in the north of Europe. Salaries a lot higher, and you just have a different lifestyle. When you move to a place where there is less work, for example, or that sort of thing, you might want to say, okay, what is actually important to me? Is it to have a great big house and 2 cars on the drive and 3 holidays a year? Or is it to feel really happy in my core self and do the things that are really important to me with the people that are dear to me, and see what you can adapt to make that happen financially, lifestyle wise, and what feels good. It's all about feeling into it, I think.
Well, it's good to hear from what you're sharing with me is that, yeah, you followed an intuition, knowingly or unknowingly, you did. And that the house swap just happened to be in Valencia.
It didn't happen to be. It wasn't I don't believe in coincidence. It had to happen because we nearly gave up. We nearly gave up. Because I found another job. My husband found another job, and we were like, we are okay in Scotland. We are happy. We have our house. We have everything. And then this email came up just to go like, hold on a second. We're not done yet.
Exactly. And I think you used the words as well, that it planted a seed, and it's your intuition that piped up and said, okay, well, the seed's planted. Let's go and see what it does.
Yeah.
Even if it is only for a month into a house exchange. And then you made comment that you just felt brighter, more light, more sunshine, more color. It just felt, and you used the word a couple of times. And I'm definitely a woman who shares that knowing of, yeah, it's the word I use. It's knowing. There's no other way of explaining it. It's just knowing.
And the thing is, you feel that it's good, and then the mind starts to rationalize, and that is, we were talking about challenges before. That is a big challenge, to actually silence that rationalization, because that usually talks you back into safety. Like, oh, you don't want to do that because that's risky. You may not like it. There may be problems. You may lose everything. You may feel horrible, and then what? That's your mind talking you back into feeling safe and staying put. And so when you feel a really strong calling, and in your heart, in your soul, you feel like, no, this is really, I feel joy. I feel good here. Then you've got to take that seriously.
I am totally with you on that. Totally with you. So in essence, yeah, and as I've shared with you, from my perspective, knowing that, unknowing it, as your case is, that you landed on a sun line from an astrocartography, astrological perspective. I just want to wish you exceptionally well in context of a whole album that you're about to write and record.
Thank you.
And just keep shining. If you can lastly just give the listeners, if you could please give them some insight as to what you do as far as being a creative entrepreneur, because that's something that you're quite passionate about. And it's wonderful from my perspective to see how you do things differently, which is very encouraging, I believe, for everybody out there to know that there's at least one woman. I suspect there's more of you somewhere in the world, but there's at least one woman who understands the likelihood of doing something differently. And quite simply, it's because you can. So if you could share some insight as to what you do, and if you want to also just, I'll share a link to your social media, if that's okay with you, on this particular episode when it goes out. But yeah, please shed some light so that listeners have a bit more insight as to who this amazing lady is that landed in Valencia. There you go. And she proposed to stay.
I guess being here and not speaking the language fluently and all that, you have to reinvent yourself. Now, I happen to be quite good at that. And then, you start your own business. You need an income. You go like, what are my skills? What are my talents? So I started as a copywriter first online, which went well. Then the pandemic hit. We all know about that. And then I realigned with my core values. And I decided to become a creative business coach. Why? Because I see a lot of people around me, not just women, men as well, who are just on the treadmill of normality and what is expected of them, but they are creatives at heart. They have a passion and they want to make that work, but they feel stuck, they feel overwhelmed, and they don't know where to start. So what I do as a creative business coach is I help them not just start, but also grow if they've already started with clarity, confidence, and their marketing, messaging, and all of that, so that they can earn a living doing what they love, either full time or as a side hustle or part time, whatever it is that they want. But I really feel, because I have made this true myself, earning money doing what I love doing, which is helping others and being a creative myself. So I really wish that for others as well, to step out of that box of safety, out of the comfort zone, and following their heart. I mean, what are we here for in life?
Good question.
Yeah, so this is what I do as an online coach, which the website is thecreativebusiness.coach if you want to have a look. And other than that, besides that, sometimes I'm a tour guide on a bike, which I love doing because I'm an art historian, got a degree in that. And so I love talking about culture and history and architecture to people who come to this beautiful city, this beautiful part of the world. So I do that sometimes. And I like you say, I'm a musician. I've really grasped that this year. And I'm a singer-songwriter, and I paint a little bit on the side. So I'm really I'm doing all of the things I'm passionate about, and I'm super grateful for having found this place and this opportunity to really be myself. When somebody says like, "Oh, what do you wish for?" I really have to sort of think about what else do I wish for? I've got everything. I've got everything in life I wish for. I would say if I die tomorrow, I'd die a happy person. I don't want to. I've got a long life to live.
No. I'm dying yet. Okay, that's not needed.
No, but I want other people to feel like this too, because there's too many people struggling and keeping themselves small, and there's no need for that. We all have something to give.
We certainly do, and thank you, because just hearing the joy in your voice, the expression that I can hear. Yeah, you're very happy in where you're at. And the other consideration that I can also share with you is that different planetary lines, they represent different stages of a person's life. Like maybe we go to them in our teens and things kind of just roll out and flow out until we hit our 30s or 40s or whatever it may be. But then there's something within us that hasn't quite filled a little part or a big part. I don't really know the answer to that. Only the person can know that answer, in knowing that, yeah, I need to go and become whole.
Yes.
I'm not quite whole yet. And so, like we've been sharing, from my perspective, it's there's this little knowing within you said, okay, this city feels good. I like it here. It feels good. Let's give it a go here. And it's taking a chance. It's just trusting yourself. It's believing, to have faith. It's all those wonderful aspects of life, to give something a go and without knowing. And I do also appreciate that maybe some people don't feel that, or don't want to feel that, or don't need to feel that. Whatever that circumstances may be for them is for them. So I have no judgment on that at all. Like you're sharing, Nina, you've well and truly found a place in the world that your sun is rising straight over you. And it's your Aquarian sun at that. And so your Aquarianness is looking for freedom, for out of the box ideas. It's looking for interaction that is out of the blue. It's new. It has to be innovative. It has to be, freedom is the first word that keeps coming to me when I think of Aquarius and its rulership of Uranus. Like it needs freedom to do what it loves. It needs freedom to be the person that you are in this aspect. So again, like, I'm delighted for you, and I'm really excited that I had the opportunity to meet with you and to have this conversation with you, because you knew nothing about astrocartography. And then I come along and say, well, Nina, I'm sure you didn't know this at the time, but there is a lot of sun in Spain, I'm sure. But did you know that your sun line is rising straight over Valencia? And the answer was no.
I had no idea.
So I hope that also gives you a bit of insight, because as we progress in our ages, we do have a tendency, from what I'm learning from most people that I make contact with, to then tap into somewhere else. And that somewhere else may be for 6 months to go and try something, to learn something new that you can then come back to somewhere like Valencia and integrate it somehow, some way. So we do tend to, because as we evolve as human beings, then we may not be able to stay in that same location all the time. Mm-hmm. And that's, as I said, that's neither good nor bad. It's just what is. But we have an innate need to be whole. So do you have anything further you would like to add to the listeners? That because you're an inspiring woman. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. I just think people should not be scared of stepping out of the comfort zone and following their path, because usually it's almost like looking back at your childhood and what were you happiest doing? What came natural to you? And what are you drawn to interest wise? Feed that, because that is the piece of the puzzle that is missing later in life, and that will pop its head up in your 40s usually. The great midlife awakening, I call it. And it will go like, hello, how about me? and then it's like, your mind will rationalize. You go like, oh, but I can't possibly do that because I've got to pay the bills. And but I always think, there is always a way, and you start small. One step is also a step, and a snail also moves forward. So there is no burning all your bridges straight away and going for something, diving in, head first. And it's like what you said, you can go and try things out and see how it feels. And it's the same with following your passion, whether that's as a creative business or something else. Try things out, do something new. It's January now, so there's a whole year ahead of us. Try something new this year.
Well, there you go, listeners. I've been speaking to Nina, and she is the creative coach. And so she's been giving away little pearls of information in her coaching content. So, thank you so much, Nina, for being my first guest. And if anybody else is out there and has had, maybe interesting experiences, whether they have been a bit more challenging or really quite flowing, then please reach out. I would love to have a chat. And if you're open to having it shared on the podcast platform. So thank you again, Nina.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for joining us on Destined Places. I hope you're feeling inspired by the powerful ways that location shapes our astrological journeys. To explore more about my work, including personal consultations, my online program, and insightful soul travel blogs that reveal astrocartography's unique influences, visit asoulawakening.com. And if you know someone who'd benefit from this episode, share it with them today. Join us next time for more captivating insights into how location truly matters.